Back on Paradise Island, Diana and Artemis were tracking down Deadshot. He tried to assassinate Diana again, but his bullet was deflected by Artemis's shield. Deadshot is now running away from Artemis, who is blindly swinging her axe, and Diana, who is simply trying to capture the villain. Deadshot fired out a hook, and it lifted his body into the air, swinging from the tree the hook had landed in. Wonder Woman then threw her lasso towards the fiend and pulled him down to the ground. Right then, a massive tremor was felt across the land, and Deadshot got away. Diana told Artemis they need to return back to the palace, to which she reluctantly agreed. As they returned, they saw a few buildings collapsing due to the vibrations in the ground. People were being crushed under them. Diana tried to save as many as she could, but she couldn't reach everyone. However, curiously enough, a few corpses floated up out of the water. Their bodies were adorned with golden and green armor, partly fused with seashells. Diana ordered for them to be brought up onto the sand, and she saw they were distantly related to Poseidon in some way. She found this odd, so she decided to go to the temple and talk to Athena. However, in there was a man. Wonder Woman found this very odd, as Paradise Island was supposed to only be occupied by the female warriors of Athena. This man had gray smoke flowing from him wherever he tread, and his eyes were soulless, with a small circle of red in the center. His suit was adorned with skulls. Wonder Woman recognized him. This was Ares.
"Surprised to see me, Amazon?"
Wonder Woman nodded.
"Well, I only arrive at times of war, and believe me, one is brewing, very close to home,"
he said as he disappeared. Meanwhile, down on the ocean floor, there's a raised platform with a true underwater civilization. People swam around wearing orange and green. Guards patrolled the city in silver, green, and orange armor, armed with tridents to repel predatory ocean creatures. In the throne room of the city of Atlantis, a man sat upon his throne. He, the true ruler of Atlantis, sat, with his brother by his side. A man ran in the room and reported that the tremor had killed some of his soldiers. Aquaman frowned, and his brother advised him to go investigate. He agreed and swam away. Orm then turned away from his brother and went down a hallway. He closed the door behind him and found Ares standing there.
"Our plan is going spectacularly,"
Ares said. "Yes, of course it is. My brain's cunning machinations have made my idiot brother want to destroy the island above, and I'm sure the recent batch of earthquakes is not the only thing he'll do," Orm said, clearly happy with himself. Before Ares could speak again, Orm left the room. Ares stood there with a mischievous look on his face. He knew something that Orm did not. Back on Themyscira, Wonder Woman was trying to piece together the wreckage and save as many lives as possible. Artemis wanted her to go hunt down Deadshot, but Diana refused, as there were more pressing matters. Right then, large purple tentacles emerged from the water. Diana motioned for everyone to leave the area, except for her and her guards. Artemis charged forth and heaved her axe over her head, slamming it down on top of one of the tentacles. A loud cry resounded throughout the island, hurting everyone's ears. Then a head rose from the sea, and on top of that head, a man with yellow hair, orange-scaled armor, and green pants stood. Artemis thought to attack first, but then a tendril made of pure water rose from the sea and grasped her. Orm, donned in a purple and silver set of battle gear, also rose up from the sea. Sharks got sent from the ocean towards the land. The Amazons walked over to the shore and started killing them, causing a major fight. Amazons fell, and the Atlantean numbers dwindled too. Diana used her powers to grab Artemis from a fight and fly over to the giant octopus. She approached Aquaman and tried to have a civil discussion with him. However, Orm and Artemis started fighting, so diplomacy was not an option. But through the fight, the tremors continued. Aquaman and Orm looked at each other and could tell that something was amiss. Up from the water, gray smoke billowed, pouring into the sky, covering the clouds. The smoke coated the atmosphere of the entire planet. From Gotham to Tokyo, everyone could see this. However, a figure raised himself. He had eyes, blood red, with a helmet like those from ancient Greece. Giant axes, swords, and knives floated through the sky surrounding him. Wonder Woman gasped and fell to her knees. She realized that the warning Ares had said earlier was this. Ares had manipulated both sides. Aquaman also seemed to realize this as soon as Orm jumped off the octopus head and got in the water near Ares. Ares looked down at him, but then laughed. He grabbed Orm and raised him upwards. "Yes, finally, now my work with Ares. We will bathe the earth in constant war, and I will become the true Ocean Master. In fact, that will be my new title, the Ocean Master." Ares laughed more, but this time not at the Amazons and Atlanteans, but at Orm. Ares then threw him away out to sea and laughed more. Wonder Woman then looked to Aquaman, who nodded, and they knew that this meant they must work together. Wonder Woman wrapped her golden lasso around the giant flying knife, and Aquaman used hydrokinesis to move a pillar of water to throw the knife at Ares. He tried slashing at the two of them with his giant axe, but Artemis threw them out of the way and ran up along the axe, jumped onto his face, cutting into his flesh with her axe. Aquaman then manipulated sharks in the water to bite Ares' exposed knees, as Wonder Woman slid off a tentacle of the octopus using her shield, and flew up into the air and slashed at Ares' arm. A bright glow shone through all these cuts and wounds, and in a puff of smoke, he disappeared. The clouds went back to normal, and Aquaman and Wonder Woman decided to work together. For the betterment of both their countries, they both went into the United Nations and officially opened their countries to the world. Back in the sea, Orm was deep in the water. He found a man down there, in a gray and silver armor set with red eyes. He introduced himself as Black Manta, and then pulled on a chain, bringing forth a humanoid shark creature called King Shark. These three formed an alliance, driven to wrestle Atlantis from Aquaman's control.